Alright, so we almost done here. We got another of fighting tips that I want to do that right now is how to condition your knuckles guide to your hardening your fists. Now this is for how to how to condition your knuckles or your bodies and all that, because remember from Cynthia, because hers was the hardest fist of all time, from every iron in your body, because that's how it is. So anyways, let's do it. 3, 2, 1, go.
What's going on, guys? Shane here. So today we're going over knuckle conditioning drills. There's going to be a full guide on hardening your fists, but I want to start this video off with a strong disclaimer here. Knuckle conditioning is a gradual process, and if done incorrectly, you can seriously and permanently injure your hands. If you're a competitive fighter, then you want to protect your moneymakers. This guide is for hardening the metacarpals primarily for self-defense, and no, we will not be punching any walls. Alright, so I've been a competitive fighter for years, and I've had my fair share of injuries, like in this pro Muay Thai fight here. I injured my foot throwing a kick that was checked against my opponent's knee. And from there I got into boxing, and I injured my hands on multiple occasions from throwing sloppy punches or being lazy and not wearing my wraps before hitting the heavy bag. And yes, injuries come with fighting, that's true, but they are preventable. If you're a competitive fighter, I suggest that you avoid knuckle conditioning, or at least some parts of it, because hitting a heavy bag bare knuckle can be a high-risk activity. I want you to always wear your wraps and gloves when training, because that's where most injuries happen. Not necessarily in the fight, but in that hard training that you're doing. However, boxer fractures, ruptured ligaments, and other hand injuries do often occur in boxing, Muay Thai, and MMA matches. So I will cover some safe forearm exercises that will help produce a tighter grip and a denser fist. So if you're a competitive fighter, I do recommend that you do these. They'll be at the end. So now I will explain why I choose to condition my hands for self-defense. Should you choose to follow is your choice, not mine. Cool. With that being said, let's take a look at a traditional boxing glove or Muay Thai glove. I want you to notice the thumb alignment, where it forces your thumb to be on the outside. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing because you shouldn't be punching with your thumb anyway. However, when I make a fist here, the striking surface sort of protrudes the wrong knuckles. And again, there's a lot of padding here, and I still can squeeze enough to where I am hitting with the correct part of my hand. So that's not the problem necessarily. However, what I noticed studying footage of myself shadowboxing, after years and years of training, muscle memory forced my hand into this position. I wasn't making a full fist, and my thumb was on the outside. You can see it with this cross here and the uppercut. Very loose, which is okay, but upon impact, you should be squeezing your fist. It should be a dense object that you're smashing into your opponent. So most of you know what a correct fist looks like, which is the one on the bottom. However, if you're always throwing punches with those gloves on, you're going to get in the habit of making an incorrect fist. Human beings are a creature of habit, so you need to make sure that you're training the way that you would want to fight. Unlike many others, when throwing straight punches like jabs and crosses, I recommend that you hit with all 4 knuckles. Many people suggest hitting with the index and the middle finger knuckle because they're the largest. We're going to talk more later on when you should do that. For now, let's get into our first drill for knuckle conditioning. So the first one is hitting a heavy bag, and I want you to hit a heavy bag at least 3 times a week for 6 months. And I'm talking about with your hands wrapped and 12 to 16 ounce boxing gloves on. You can start off with a softer bag and then work your way up to a more firm bag. From there, after those 6 months, then you can go down to MMA gloves. Now these are more padded MMA gloves that I have here. Hypnotic calls them hybrid gloves. And ground and pound as well. 3 times a week, 3 rounds for 3 minutes each. Easy to remember. Now from here you can make the transition to just using hand wraps, or like I did, I went right to bare fist. Notice the bag I'm using is leather or a synthetic leather, not a canvas. Canvas shreds the skin on your knuckles, and it's very hard to heal that after that happens because it's always cracking back open. I'm not personally concerned with toughening up the skin on my knuckles because in a fight, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about keeping my bones intact. Alright, let's talk about the format of bare knuckle heavy bag training. You're going to go for 30 seconds on the heavy bag at 50% power. That's it, for 3 sets, and you'll only do this once a week, okay? Some things to keep in mind is that you want to keep your fist tight, you want to keep your wrist straight, squeezing the forearm upon impact, and you're going to do this all the time. You should be in the habit of doing this even with boxing gloves on. But I want you to notice my hooks. If they're a little wide, I hit with my index finger knuckle, palm down. Because if I have palm facing me, I could hit with my thumb or the wrong part of my knuckles. Some people prefer bending the wrist like Fedor Emelianenko used to do. Either way, just make sure the angle is correct and you're not tweaking the carpals in your wrist. After your 3 sets of 30 seconds, at 50% power, you can submerge your hands in a bowl of ice water for 5 to 10 sets of 20 seconds. This will help reduce swelling, and also feel free to take ibuprofen if you need it. However, there shouldn't be that much pain from this drill. If there is, you may have gone too hard, or you may have tweaked something in your wrist. Alright, so again, it's a gradual process. Let's talk about diet now, because you want to make sure that you have strong bones and cushion, well-oiled joints. Okay, so the first thing is calcium, obviously. Vitamin D is going to help with calcium absorption and bone growth. You want to make sure that you're getting omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin B6. So some of the ways to get these vitamins and minerals are eggs. Direct sunlight for 10 minutes is great for vitamin D. You can also get that in pill form. Flax or chia seeds, meat, fish, and leafy greens. Alright, now let's talk about forearm exercises, because this is going to help reinforce the wrist and give you a denser fist. Alright, so the first one is pull-ups. 3 sets of 10, but then I want you to immediately follow that up with 20 to 30 seconds of a straight arm dead hang. Alright, so after you finish out 10 reps, just hang with your arms completely straight at the bottom, squeezing your fists so that you're really working the forearms. Next is reverse forearm curls. You can do this with a straight bar or an easy curl bar, and you're just going to do 3 sets of 12. And with that same bar, you can do behind the back wrist curls, 3 sets of 15, really squeezing those forearms at the top. Now these are just 3 examples. There's a ton of different variations. You can do chin-ups holding towels for a more challenging grip. Do a search online. You'll be able to find a ton of forearm exercises that you can do. So no, we're not punching any walls. We're punching things that have give. And remember, it's a gradual process. Be safe. Keep that wrist straight. Work the forearms. Recover and diet correctly so that you don't risk carpal tunnel or any other hand injuries. And I still recommend open hand palm strikes and elbows. Much less risk of injury, but still can do a ton of damage. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe so you can get these fight tips before your opponent does. On the bottom left is my Instagram. The bottom right is my Twitter. Don't forget to follow me on Snapchat for the fighter combo of the day. And then on Twitch, if you're into gaming, playing a lot of you.
Alright, so that is for fighting tips. I'm probably going to do that, well, maybe next time. Because I got a lot of training to do. You know, for punching, kicking, knees, and elbows, and head, and bodies, and ankles. So yeah, it's kind of a lot of things to do that. So yeah, I'll see you on the next reaction videos.